Alright, I'm going to read a story in my own words from this book called Stories for Telling by William R. White. This story is called The Two Brothers, and there's a little sentence before it that says, "There is a surprising quality of love, be it the love of God or that of his people. This Jewish folktale links the surprise to an old temple legend." So it starts off with two brothers, and they farmed together. They owned a farm, and each day they did the same amount of work as each other, and at the end of the day, they split the profits right in half, equally for the whole day. One of these brothers was married with a lot of children and a wife, and the other brother was single. Well, one day, the single brother thought to himself, why are we splitting the profits so equally when he has so many more mouths to feed? I only have to feed myself, and he has his children and his wife. So he thought, and then he came up with an idea. He said, I know what I'll do. At the end of the day, when it's all night out and everyone's asleep, I'm going to take one of my sacks of grain from my granary and bring it over to my brother's. He'll never know, and that way he'll have more grain to feed his family. So he did that for a couple nights, and then his married brother thought to himself, why are we splitting the profits equally each night when I have so many more children to feed me when I'm old and fragile and can't work anymore, and he has no one. Once he's old and fragile, he won't have anyone to feed him. So he didn't know what to do, so he thought, and he came up with an idea. He said, I know, I'll grab one of my sacks of grain from my granary at night and bring it over to him. That way, he'll be able to feed himself when he's old and frail. So he did that for a couple nights, and each morning the brothers woke up and they were like surprised and stunned to see that they had just as much grain as they had earned the day before, even after bringing one to their brother that night. So one night, they were both bringing the grains to each of their storehouses, each other's, and they met up. And they saw each other, and they were surprised, and they were amazed. But then they realized what was happening. And they understood, and they embraced each other, and loved each other. And there's an end to this story that I'm going to read, which says, there is a legend that says, God looked down from heaven and saw the two brothers embracing, and said, I declare this to be a holy place, for I witnessed extraordinary love here. It also said that it was the spot on which Solomon built his first temple. And that is the story of the two brothers.